Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Entab CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where the stalwarts of education come on board and express their viewpoints on curbing topics related to education and society. But before I begin, let me quickly introduce you to Entab. We are a 20-year-old IT company engaged in providing matured and futuristic school ERP, CRM, and mobile apps to the schools spread across India and help in transforming them from good schools to great ones. In today's session, we'll discuss the tips about parallel tasking. That's right, not multitasking, but parallel tasking. We'll understand the difference between parallel tasking and multitasking, and we shall also learn how parallel tasking increases productivity and concentration. So, to discuss the same, we have a very special guest. Please put your hands together for Miss Anita, the principal of St. Joseph International School, Tohana. In her educational journey of more than 18 years, ma'am has served as an international career coach, human rights activist, and a columnist. Ma'am has also been awarded with the International Excellent Educators Awardee by Saksham Society Jaipur. Welcome to the show, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Saksham.
Ma'am
And
Himanshu.
oh, so sorry, Himanshu. Thank you so much, and thank you, Antam, for having me here on this platform. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, the pleasure is all ours, no problem. So, but before I begin with the webinar and everything, to those who are watching me on YouTube, in case you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and click on that bell icon to stay regularly updated. All right, ma'am. So, first thing first, our audience would love to know what is exactly parallel tasking and what is the difference between parallel tasking and multitasking.
Yeah, very pertinent question. In this fast changing world, when we have to do a lot of things every day, we need with a flick. We are always short of time. Very often we hear that multitasking is the need of the hour. No matter you are looking for a job, looking for hiring, or you are a student, you are supposed to do lot many things simultaneously. And we appreciate the people in such a way like he or she is a multitasker. And this is a much needed skill in present scenario.
Mhm.
So let us understand what is multitasking basically. It is the ability to manage multiple responsibilities at once by focusing on one task while keeping track of others.
Mm.
So, the problem with multitasking is that the human brain cannot do certain things at the exact same time.
Mm.
You know, uh, the ability to fully process the information, it takes time in the brain also. Let us take one example. One could try to read a book and watch TV at the exact same time.
Mm.
However, instead of comprehending both inputs fully, one ends up either paying attention to the book
Mm.
or focusing on the television.
Right.
As a result, what happens? Neither is completed very well, and time is wasted when shifting from one activity to the other one and the vice versa.
Right.
Yet, you can combine some tasks without diminishing your effectiveness or wasting time. Let us take one classic example. You would be chewing gum or listening to an audio and walking. You are traveling on an aeroplane and completing administrative tasks or playing video games, waiting in the doctor's office and reading a book. So, the way in which you can focus on several items concurrently without any hindrance, that is known as parallel tasking.
Okay.
So, this is the very thin difference between these two terms multitasking and parallel tasking.
Right.
So, the big advantage, Himanshu, here is that the parallel tasking is where like we does not encounter the time cost of
Mm.
so-called multitasking as there is no switching.
Mm.
Both activities they occur simultaneously without any confusion or reduced output. For example, let us take the time spent waiting in the doctor's office or flying in a plane is going to pass otherwise also.
Right.
So regardless what you choose to do, The best option is to take advantage of such moments and make them super productive. It does not take some forethought and planning. You have to plan it beforehand, but it is certainly worth the effort. So, this was my take on multitasking and parallel tasking.
Wonderfully explained, ma'am. And also, I was reading an article on LinkedIn wherein it is now mentioned that parallel tasking is actually, multitasking is actually redundant, and it actually wastes more time because both the tasks don't get completed on time. So it is all the more advisable to finish one task and then go on to the other task, and don't try to do both the tasks simultaneously. However, as you correctly mentioned, when it comes to parallel tasking, right, there are few jobs which are redundant in nature. For example, even driving. So, because after a while, driving becomes innate nature. It ingrains in our DNA. It goes in an autopilot mode, right? So
Yes.
we can listen to somewhat a good documentary, or maybe what I usually tend to do when I drive, I listen to certain motivational speeches, or maybe some marketing techniques that are going on, trends and something, or sales technique that are going on, some sort of audio cues which can help us
As
improve our personality.
yes, as per your interest.
Yeah, absolutely, based on as per individual's interest.
Obviously, yes.
Right,
And to enhance the knowledge also
right, of course.
at the same time.
At the
Yeah.
same time, yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, moving forward, parallel tasking is believed to be absolutely perfect for concentration and increasing productivity simultaneously. So, in your opinion, how can parallel tasking help with increasing productivity?
Hmm. So, Himanshu, you must have heard in earlier times in India, when I talk about India, there were people who practiced Ashtavadhana,
ये क्या होता है,
which
ma'am?
refers to an ancient Indian skill. Apparently, the skill has been dying and there are very few living legends.
Okay.
But this term, Ashtavadhanam, is made up by the word Avadhanam, which means concentration of mind.
Okay.
And Avdhani was the person who was performing those work or those skills, which involves demonstrating either outstanding ability to concentrate, to retain, sharp mindedness, and possess a wide range of knowledge on subject area. Ashta means eight, the ability to demonstrate eightfold concentration.
Wow.
In this case, what was happening that the Avadhani's ability was tested by eight expertise at that time. What they used to do is they need to give them eight questions parallelly, and that person is supposed to do after listening them one time. He was supposed to speak all the answers one by one. So that was a skill which is completely dependent upon your focus. Apart then Ashtadhyayi, there were Sadhavadhanas. Sadhavadhanas were the people, those who were having the ability to listen to 100 tasks and performing them one after the other in the same order.
Wow.
This is our ancient glory. Eight-folded alertness or Ashtavadhanam is a public performance in general knowledge, displaying memory retention, mastering language and literature, and time awareness. These Sadvadhanis or Ashtavadhanis were common in Kannada and Telugu, basically in South Indian royal courts, and they were duly honored by the kings also at that moment.
Ma'am, these must be related, these must be taught to the bureaucrats, basically, जो अब हमारे IAS, IPS, for the bureaucracy, because if I can fathom it correctly, listening to 100 complaints at the same time and then acting upon one after the other, correct?
Yes, very true. And at the same time, it goes to the school children also. This is the skill which can be groomed into the small and young minds from where they can learn, within a very short span of time. They have to hear the things and then accordingly they have to perform. It takes very little time. So this is again called the time management. Without wasting much time performing a lot much. That is the
Right.
concept. So it was, we have this very rich culture, but it is very worrisome. Like now, we are not so much aware of these things, and we call multitasking or parallel tasking as a so-called 21st century skill. Though this is not actually a fact for India. So,
Right.
some perfect examples, like if I'll quote, then there are like nowadays also we find apart than these Ashtarhais and Dashavadhanis, we find now also, as you have given the example of IES and IPS, because they have to serve the community and they have lot many queries to settle down at the same point of time. So these are again the good examples of parallel tasking. They cannot leave one work for a time for doing the another work. The
Right.
things have to go parallelly. But yes, all the things, all the work is completely important for each one of the civil servant. And the same thing is happening in all walks of life now. As I have taken the example of a student, the same thing goes to a teacher also. The teacher also, nowadays, the teacher is not only for teaching, they are facilitators.
Mm.
They have to provide lot many areas to the student, because when the student is coming to their class, the child is already knowing lot much of the concept which is to be taught today to the student. So to facilitate the child with different other aspects apart than your teaching, that is parallel tasking.
Right. All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. Ma'am, coming to the end of the webinar, see, the biggest problem as a student, or maybe as an adult or adolescent, during the age of adolescence, we face is distractions, which are very common while working, whether from home or schooling from home, and to be honest, at work as well. If I'm sitting in my cabin, I see somebody passing by outside, I'll be like, hey. So, in your opinion, how can parallel tasking help in dealing with and overcoming distractions?
Yeah, this one is relatively obvious. If you want to do the most efficient parallel tasker, you will need to avoid being distracted.
Right.
But actually, which is not at all so easy task. And especially when so many employees are working from their homes nowadays, because most of us are doing the work from home. So avoiding distractions can be a huge challenge. Maybe it is a student or a teacher or any other employee. And in particular, for those individuals, those who are accustomed to do in office work. At this point, it is very essential to analyze our schedule and introspect on the kind of triggers which hampers the productivity. No change can be suddenly implemented, but certain gradual steps can be initiated in order to have a productive schedule. We often want to multitask, but that divides our focus. Therefore, one needs to fight the urge of parallel tasking.
Right.
So, how we can do is like, as per me, the first thing is we have to implement a self care morning routine. Before going to bed, we have to keep in our mind, we have to prepare a what the task to do tomorrow list, and that is to be implemented right from the morning when we wake up from the bed. That is one thing. Next is if it is always good to meditate for having increased focus. Meditation, again, it is our ancient term, and we have observed that meditation actually helps a lot to bring the focus within us and to have more concentrated towards our work. Again, another very good thing what we can do is if we are doing work from home, we can dress up like we are going to office. And we can announce to the family members that, okay, I'm leaving for work now.
I'll tell you what, I did that during the first lockdown. I remember because initial 15 days were fine because
Hmm.
that's your honeymoon period. Let's be honest. Initial 15 days is like, well, okay, fine, it's work from home. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
After that, it became burdensome.
true.
After that, it was too much because, and especially for a person like me who loves to go out, meet with people, talk to people, it became very cumbersome for me. So what I started doing was I had my own table wherein I'll have my own desktop or laptop and everything, all this office setup, and then I'll wear a shirt, I'll wear a pant, I'll wear a tie, or I'll wear a suit because otherwise there is no scale of measure
Exactly.
because you're just getting out of the bed, taking a bath, or maybe having tea, watching some news, and then you're at work.
And it almost takes your morning.
Yeah. So that's very good where you said, where you mentioned uniform. If you have a uniform, wear a uniform. And plus, of
Yes.
course, the to-do list and everything is absolutely essential.
Yes, since the students nowadays they are taking online classes,
Right.
so before going to online class, they can wear their uniform so that at least their mind also gets fit into it. That okay, now I am into studies and I have to give my complete focus.
Yeah, it's like that mode which switches on. Right?
Yeah.
So so for example, if you're going to school, wear your uniform and then you'll be in your school mode. So
Yes.
okay, now I need to focus on my subjects and everything, and after that, of course, you can change and have fun and move forward with the day. Very well pointed out by Anita ma'am. So thank you, Anita ma'am, for giving us these valuable key points and the sharing us your point of view on parallel tasking and the harm of multitasking and the benefits of parallel tasking. So it was a pleasure having this conversation with you. Till we meet again on some other webinar. Till next time, stay safe, stay secure, stay healthy, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day,
Thank
ma'am.
you.